This is TWiT.
We got Trey Ratcliffe just wrote a new book about how influencers have ruined Instagram. Trey, as probably most of our viewers know, because he's been a regular on our network, is a fabulous photographer who was able to use Instagram and other platforms like Google Plus and Facebook to build a great career. But he says the influencers on Instagram have really just ruined it. Not just real influencers, but phony influencers. There's so much money to be made as an influencer on Instagram.
Paris Martineau might have written a nice story.
Oh,
about that too.
I remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, he's following along in what you wrote. Exactly. I forgot. We talked about that last time you were on. Yeah.
There's a print piece about that very topic in this issue of Wired, the May issue. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Is that a different piece than the one we talked about?
It is different. It's more kind of about the spawn con economy in the influencer world. And how, I guess, because you just mentioned fake influencers are particularly damaging for the Instagram world, and it kind of deals with that in the sense that the rise of SpawnCon. This is the online version.
Inside the weird and booming industry of online influence, and part of the problem is people are buying followers.
Yeah, I mean, basically, part of the issue is that the metrics and ways in which we view and value content or ideas online, we kind of view them as the as their real world equivalents. Like, oh, if this tweet or Instagram post has thousands and thousands of likes and comments, then that's valuable content. Then people agree with that idea or maybe like that post. But that isn't always true, because all of these metrics can be very easily bought, and often are, and none of them hold the same weight as their real world equivalents, nor are there any real ways to check whether, let's say, these 10,000 likes are real or fake, or the first 1,000 were fake, and that's what boosted them to get 9,000 more real ones. And it's like, how do you even begin to balance the weight of content and the value of content or ideas online? You can't really.
There was an interesting paper by, I believe it was MIT's Media Lab, where they were able to show what manipulated metrics look like versus organic metrics. Because in an organic metric, let's say you've got a tweet or an Instagram post that's particularly popular. You get a big boom at the start, and then it just kind of tapers off, and it does sort of just a decline into obscurity. When you've got a boosted post, what you see is it actually starts low, and then it goes high, and then every time it starts to decline, it goes back up.
Wow.
But the problem with that is you can't just look at that chart and say, well, they're cheating and they're not, because you get the same thing if you pay for it through Twitter or Facebook. So the only difference is, do I pay Facebook or do I pay my army of bots to get that continually boosted post? And
part of the issue. Oh, sorry.
No, please continue.
Oh, sorry. And part of the issue is now that the fakers and the people who kind of sell it's called like social, like SMM panels, is often where people kind of get these fake likes and everything like that. They're now offering services that specifically exist to kind of counter that narrative, where one place that I often kind of go to check the temperature of the online fake economy is this place called Social Media SM Garden. I've seen recently is they offer slow likes or slow YouTube views, no drops, which means essentially that you would get, if you buy 10,000 or 100,000 views in your YouTube video, they'll trickle them in every hour on the hour for a couple of days.
Right, and so they watch all the way through. Because there are the other types where, oh my gosh, I got 1 million views, but 90% of them dropped after the first 15 seconds. You can actually buy full engagement. You can tell them, no, I want you to actually download and be active the entire time of the video. So yeah, it's a cat and mouse game, and there's a part of me that says we kind of did this, right? I mean, this is our industry. This is TWiT. This is online where we.
This is not TWiT.
No, but in a sense, in the sense that one of the big selling points when you started this revolution of where advertising dollars go is we said, look, we can tell you where your advertising money is being spent. We can show you the engagement. We can show you much better metrics than you can get off of the old Nielsen system. So we created a system that looked more honest, but now it's being gamed in and there's no easy fix for that.
So my question is, though, who is really harmed by this fake? So it's not really readers, because if you don't really have 1 million followers, nobody's really seeing you except a bunch of bots. You're trying to trick Samsung. You're trying to trick the companies to give you money, right?
Yes and no, because yes, they're fake, but and Paris, you alluded to this. It might be fake at the beginning, but because of the way that the search engines are weighed, since you got so much fake popularity, now you're actually getting organic views. Well, okay, now do we consider, is that fair game now? Is that table stakes? Do I have to pay a little bit to get my post boosted above the noise in order to give it a chance to get popular?
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, and I think where that ends up leading to is it plays into the content cycle. Like, let's say one thing that I think about, which is a total hypothetical, but I think is a good example of this. You remember after the Parkland shooting, there was a large news cycle about how one of the top video on YouTube was about the crisis actor kind of conspiracy, and everyone there were a lot of articles and reactions written to that, and it was kind of a trending topic on Twitter for a while. And I was thinking at the time, I was like, how do we even know if all of those views are correct? Like, what if somebody hypothetically buys a lot of views for a YouTube video or tweet that ends up becoming popular, and it's, let's say, exposing like a polarizing viewpoint. And then people start using that tweet or account or, I don't know, article or video as a way to say, oh, this is what the right or the left is doing. This is emblematic of a certain viewpoint. We should react to that in this way. Then this whole content cycle starts up that was originally predicated on a lie, but because now people are engaging with it, it kind of becomes a partial truth in a way. And I mean, there's no way to ensure that we are not participating in that, or no way really to counteract against it. It's just something that we're privy to.
So Paris, when you said Social Media Guardian, I created an account and logged in. How does this even exist? Tell me what this thing does.
Oh, so go over on the left. I can't really see.
I don't have any money in it yet. So they want me to deposit funds, obviously, right? And then what?
There is, go over to it's socialmedia.garden/pricing.
Oh, pricing and info. Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, so that'll show you the pricing table of the things you can buy.
How is this even legal? I can buy high retention, slow views, 300 to 600 a day, for $2.80 per thousand. Up to 10.
Used to be in beta last time I checked.
I could buy 10,000 views.
That's a deal
on YouTube. Leo. Is it only YouTube, or do they? Oh no, wait a minute. Instagram.
So they have tabs for all of
Twitter,
these. Up into SoundCloud,
Facebook.
You can get SoundCloud followers.
I could buy SoundCloud followers, plays, likes, reposts, downloads. So what do they have? A panel of humans in Asia or somewhere that are doing this?
I'm not sure in the case of SM Garden specifically, but it could either be bots. It could be, I don't know if you've ever seen, there are particularly dramatic videos of these things called Chinese click farms, where they
have a wall of smartphones,
walls and walls of phones that are automated to click and watch things. Or in some cases, if it's a particularly advanced operation, they'll have 100 people in a room just, watching, clicking videos, manning machines.
And the idea of slow views is you don't want to trigger some. There it is.
They do have Twitch.
You don't want to trigger any thing on YouTube that says, "Wait a minute, they got too many likes and too few minutes." It looks more organic. They maybe even do it in spurts and stuff like real people would. Is it full? I mean, YouTube must know about this.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's a constant kind of back and forth in YouTube in particular. View botting is often what this is called, or just buying fake views is something that YouTube has been fighting against since the beginning. And it's interesting, I guess, to look at this pricing table now, because I was looking at it maybe in January, February, when I was writing the print piece, which had mentioned this. And there was maybe 5 different YouTube options available then, because I guess YouTube had cracked down on a specific type of fake view botting. But now there are 15 or whatever available on there. So I guess, this kind of cycle and back and forth happens where YouTube will crack down and win for a bit, and then the spammers and fakers will adapt their methods and come back.
So the cheapest...
Is Amazon on there as well?
No.
Twitch, yeah.
Twitch is.
No
Twitch is.
I don't see where I can buy views for Priest Book.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that
the Vatican
That's the
social?
one holy site left. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's useless for me then.
One holy site. So the cheapest thing on here is mobile views on YouTube. Only $2.60 per 1,000. And it takes 300 to 600 a day, so it builds up slowly. That's pretty cheap. Do you think this is, I mean, honestly, do you think big YouTube stars are using this?
Who's this for? Yeah.
Why wouldn't they, I guess? Well, certainly wannabes. But,
Yeah,
but if you make more money, if you're charging, as I would imagine, CPMs, cost per 1,000 impressions, or adding a few thousand impressions, look, it's only $2.60 per 1,000. If you're charging twice that per 1,000 as a CPM, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I mean that's one big issue that a lot of companies have in regards to influencer marketing. Is there was some study I believe from maybe it was Clear Cloud or one of these social media marketing and analytics firms. They said that companies, their number one problem right now is trying to figure out whether influencers actually have genuine stats versus fake stats because they don't know how much to pay them for any campaigns.
Right. So that's who it hurts. I mean, in the long run, I would imagine, and I would hope, since it'd be good for me, brands would turn away from this and go to places where they have, they can really measure.
You would hope that, but I mean, put yourself into the mind of an advertiser. You have to assume that if it's this easy to cheat, everyone's cheating.
Right.
And so therefore you just take 30% off of whatever quoted metric they give you, and that's what you pitch.
Honestly,
when you
advertisers don't have much better stats for TV or radio either. So those poor I feel, by the way, this is why Google and Facebook have 80% of all digital ad sales.
Right.
But there's a big problem with click fraud there too.
Yeah, and actually, yes, let's clear that up. This is not a digital phenomenon. And this was when...
Oh, yeah, it's been going on for years.
Does every newspaper that get printed actually get read? No, but they charge on printing
In fact,
numbers.
magazines and newspapers are notorious for counting what they call pass-along numbers, where, well, TV Guide we know has 1 million subscribers, but we figure each TV Guide gets read by 18 people. So we're going to charge you.
Definitely.
It's exactly how they do it. It's kind of amazing.
Or we know by watching 0.01% of the households in the United States what everyone is watching.
Yeah, that's how ratings work.
No, that's not great either.
We had a problem with that on Tech TV in the old days because we had such a small audience that out of the, whatever 1,000 Nielsen families, maybe one person was watching, maybe two. If that day that person two got sick, our ratings got cut in half. So it wasn't a very good system. It's not a good system for small networks because...
Wait, question. Did any of us know a Nielsen family? I never knew a Nielsen family.
Yeah.
No.
It's like
I'm not supposed to know Nielsen families. I would get in trouble if I knew a Nielsen family.
Do we even know
meet
how
someone
many
who
Nielsen
introduces
families there were?
yourself as a Nielsen family, you run away.
Anybody? Let's ask our chat room. There's a few hundred people in there. Anybody ever... I know people who've done Arbitron ratings. Were you? But the people meter.
John was a Nielsen family.
They had a people meter in your house? No, I got a diary. You got a diary. Yeah, that's the old radio way of doing it. Yeah, that's the old system that the radio used, was you'd actually write down. And that favored a certain kind of programming. It's one of the reasons Rush Limbaugh early on got very, very good ratings. His fans were so devout, they would just, at the end of the week, nobody writes it in the ratings. They get at the end of the week, I got to mail this in. I better write in what I listen to. They just write Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh.
Everyone in the chat room is talking about a diary or a book.
That's the old way. Now they have these people meters, which are a little more reliable because they record all the time. You were a people meter house? Your brother.
I mean,
he wears a little thing?
What?
It's easy enough to know exactly what everyone in America is listening to. Since our phones are listening to us 24/7, I mean, they can just get it from that, right?
No, don't do that.
Honestly,
Yeah, the Amazon it just turns on.
Many TVs have microphones.
Yes.
They have also, many TVs had a system to look at the pixels of what you're watching too and figure out what those pixels mean, what show you're watching. So your TVs are phoning home. Look at your privacy agreement or your license agreement of your television. In most cases, modern TVs are doing that.
That's why I don't plug in a smart TV ever. It doesn't get any network connectivity.
Don't give it network connectivity. That's probably a good idea. All right, let's take a little break and we'll come back. Good panel today from Wired Magazine and Wired.com. Paris Martineau. I'm sorry, I forgot that you wrote that great influencers. You know all about this subject. It's great to have you, Paris. I'm going to start buying hits on social on that social.
No.
Yeah, next week,
Next week,
your
right.
ratings go up 100,000.
No, I pledge we will never do that.
By the way,
ever.
Paris, I did a keynote in Croatia, and one part relied very heavily on your reporting. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you.
They love you in Croatia, Paris.
Wow, I have fans everywhere.